Hello, Scott here, and this is Mastering of the Mind, Body, and Soul. For my return viewers, thank you for coming back and watching another video. For all my new viewers, welcome. Hopefully, you're going to see or hear something that resonates with you, and if it does, I would like you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will answer each and every comment that is submitted. And last week I wanted to I gave you an update on my health progress, and I neglected to mention two important things. And the first was my insulin usage. Once I was diagnosed with diabetes, I was placed on insulin. Uh, at my highest rate, I was taking 20 units twice a day. But currently, I am now down to 10 units twice a day. So that's a major improvement. And also, in my first video, I talked about having some diabetic ulcers and just how bad they had actually got. And my son and I thought he was going to get to the point where I might even lose my leg because they were so bad. Now, of those 3 diabetic ulcers that I have on my leg, 2 of the 3 are completely healed. I have one on the back of my leg that's still, it's not as big as it was, and it's slowly healing. But because my blood sugar levels have went down, and I'm eating better, exercising, the wound is starting to heal a little bit faster, but this has been a slow process. And I want to say that uh, that wound care that I received, I actually needed it very much. The doctor who was treating my wounds uh, did a very good job, and she went above and beyond what another doctor would do. Uh, since then, I've been to other doctors, and they just were not willing to put in the time and effort that she did in trying to heal these open sores that I had on my leg. And I would like to, to say thank you for taking that time and effort to help me heal. You know who you are. And I know that if you're watching this video, that I just want to know how much I appreciate your help. So, getting the preliminaries out of the way, I'd like to get back into what we were talking about last week. And last week we talked about the adult part of our personality. That's the intellect, the rational thinking, and the logic behind that. And we talked about breaking habits. Well, how do you break habits? You got to change the way you think. And that comes from the parent part of your program and who you are. Last week, I went over the first 4 of breaking habits, and I'll just do a quick recap of that, and then we'll go on to the other 5. But last week, we talked about deciding what is needed to be changed. All right, we talked about, once again, what is the problem? When I engage in my activity of choice, if it causes a problem for me or anyone else, I have a problem. So once we know what needs to be changed, then we have to put a plan into action. For me, it was, I wanted to change the way I eat. And 2, we have to choose the right time. Well, you need to choose correct time. For me, if I'm wanting to lose weight, probably going on a diet around Thanksgiving or Christmas, probably not not the right time, because of all the different things that people bake and eat during those times a year. And then we have the triggers. What causes you to engage in those activities that causes problems for yourself? And there again, I talk about food, and I talk about Burger King, the aroma of the char-broiled burgers, and just seeing the sign in general, to watching late night food commercials. It all creates that trigger within me to want to go get in my truck, go down to that local restaurant, and get something to eat. And then 4 was substitute a good habit for a bad habit. Now, for me, instead of going out and having a Whopper fries and a soft drink, yeah, I should be eating a piece of fruit with apple, banana, grapes, cherries, and then I want to try to stay on the low glycemic end of that, which is a benefit for my diabetes, as well as eating some types of nuts, whether it be almonds, walnuts, etc. Those are very filling and they're also good for you. But getting into this week, where number 5 is reprogram your subconscious. Now, difference between conscious and subconscious is the subconscious is something that you really don't think about, but it happens. Conscious is when you bring it to the forefront of your mind and you're aware of it. So in reprogramming your subconscious, if for me I want to continue to lose weight, I might put some healthy slogans on the refrigerator door. Or I might put a picture up of what I looked like when I was really focused on working out and getting in shape. But it's those things that you see that are planted into that subconscious mind to help you to make that necessary change. And then we go to number 6 is get true friends to help. Now, in AA, they call them sponsors. A sponsor was somebody you can call up at any time, day or night, and when you're feeling like breaking weak or doing something that you shouldn't do, you could get on the telephone and you could call this person up, and they would talk you down or talk you through it until you started feeling stronger and the urge to whatever that was triggering you would pass. So if you've got somebody that you can talk to who's willing to help you through those times where you're needing some type of motivation, having a couple friends definitely helps. And then you got to set goals. And I term that as short, medium, and long. For weight loss, short-term goal might be 1 month. Medium goal might be 3 months. And a long-term goal be 6 months. And having those type of goals, you have an idea of whether or not you're meeting those things that you've set for yourself. Now, 8 is reward yourself. At the end of 1 month, you might want to go out, eat at a healthy restaurant. Medium, might want to go out and buy a new shirt, new pair of pants. And long-term goal, you might want to go on some type of little vacation to show off that new you. And number 9 is don't give up. Okay? Sometimes when you're hardest hit, it's the easiest to give up at that time. And remember from one of our previous videos, the acronym of HALT, H-A-L-T. And that's another from AA, but don't get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired. When you reach any of those states of being, then you're more likely to break weak and go back to your old lifestyle. And each and every week, I always have acronyms for you. And the first one is HOPE. Hold on, the pain ends. Right now, the change process can be difficult and it can be painful at times, but pain doesn't last forever. As you go into your healing process and you're becoming that better version of yourself, the pain that you first experienced is going to start to dissipate. So what's happened? Your thinking has changed. You're feeling different. Thus, your actions are no longer the same, and you're breaking the habits of what we talked about just now. It's like having a cut on your arm. Well, what do you do when you get a cut? You have to get some type of treatment. You have to clean the wound. You have to put a bandage on it. And as time progresses, initially the treatment hurts a lot. But as time goes by and you continue to clean the wound, treat the wound, the pain gets to be less and less. Eventually there becomes a scab, and from the scab, then the scab falls off. And in some instances, you have a scar. But what is that scar? That shows you where you've been and what you had to go through to get to where you are. It's a reminder of what you've been through. And then what do you want to do? You want to focus. Following one course until successful. Once you put your plan into action and you've set your short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals, revisit that to see how you're progressing along your path of change. And if you're finding out that the plan that you've enacted is not giving you the full benefit of that, that's when you need to change whatever it is you're doing to make it more effective for you. And then what you got to do, you got to act. And what is act? Action changes things. If you want to keep on getting what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. So meaning that if you don't or do not want to change who you are and what you've become, then you're going to be rooted in that unhappy lifestyle where life dictates to you instead of you dictating to your own life. And today I want to share a motivational piece with you called Don't Quit. It's kind of right along in lines with everything that we've talked about today. And this says, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the light came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out. The silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar, so stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. Wow. Stay the course. If you stay the course, you'll get the results that you're looking for. In closing, I always like to say, do an act of kindness today. I just want you to know that I believe in you. I have not stopped believing in you. And I want you to believe in yourself. Because once your belief changes from negative to positive, there is nothing that you can't overcome. So remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Believe it to achieve it. And may God bless you, and much love and light to you.